Hi, everybody. I'm Megan Powell from the Essex Bridge Center, and today's lesson is going to cover the very basics on how to play a trump contract. All right, so let's get ourselves started. So today, we'll talk about trump play of the hand, but just the very basics. This is your first introduction on how to play a trump contract or a suit contract when you are the declarer. So we start with the opening lead made by the opponent. So that's the player to the left of the declarer. And as soon as the opening lead is made, the dummy appears. Okay, everybody gets to see the dummy. And declarer gets to see both hands, both his or her own declarer hand and partner's dummy hand. Declarer sees all of the cards in the partnership. That gives the declarer some advantage in terms of figuring out how to proceed. Now, declarer's job is to look over both hands and make a general plan of how to attack these 13 tricks. Declarer knows how many tricks are required to make the contract and needs to come up with some kind of plan to do so. But this is a skill that is going to take you some time to build, all right? Today, we just want to lay out the context of the general things you're looking to do as a declarer and build the framework. But you're going to have to practice this and practice this and practice this to get stronger at it, all right? This lesson in your textbook, this is the trump play of the hand lesson from your textbook, and I'm on page 27 in your current version of the textbook. This lesson has a lot of information about trump play of the hand, a lot. You're not supposed to take all of that in at this point. You're not. I have given you a whole lot of information there so that you have a written sort of guideline to help you over and over and over as you increase in efficiency and experience over time. I wanted to give you as many tools as possible in writing to make that happen for you, all right? Now, it's only going to be after you practice and practice and practice this that is going to make even a little bit of the information in this lesson in your textbook understandable. All right, it really will take you a certain amount of time. So we're going to start on this slowly, piece by piece, and we're doing this together. Now, today, what we want to focus on are basically three areas. We want to talk about the declarer's first thoughts. Then we want to move on to the general concepts of how to count losers in a trump hand. And then we want to talk about pulling trump from the opponents, taking their trump cards away from them so that they can't come in and harm you later in the hand. And so we're going to take each one of these a piece at a time. So the auction is over and you are the declarer. The opening lead is made. The dummy appears on the table. You, as a declarer, are allowed to just sit for a minute or so and make some kind of a preparation for how to play out this hand. You get to look at your hand. You get to look at dummy's hand. Then you get to decide what you think you're going to do first, then next, then after that. You are allowed to just sit for a minute without playing any cards to think. That is the time a declarer is allowed to have. Now, you're using this time, first of all, take a deep breath, all right? You have to start putting things in order, and one of the first things you do is you gather your first thoughts. So what do I mean by that? What are first thoughts? This is when a declarer is basically thinking about the entire layout of the hand. You're looking at each suit, both in your hand and the dummy's hand, and you are putting together a plan of what lies ahead. What I generally encourage people to do in this little bit of time that you have is to silently answer 2 questions for yourself. This is before you play a single card from dummy. This is in that minute or two that you're allowed to just take a moment and think 2 questions you want to answer for yourself. Actually, silently articulate this for yourself. How many tricks do I need to make this contract? And then, how many can I afford to lose? If you articulate those 2 questions for yourself, you are actually going to move yourself further ahead on your plan in playing this hand. Because what you need to do is cement your place here, right? What do these questions mean? How many tricks do you need to make your contract? Well, you have to know how to break down the total number of tricks. And if you can figure out what that is, if you know how many tricks you actually need, your brain will get started ahead of you. Your brain subconsciously is actually going to start looking at the suits in your hand, the suits in Dummy's hand, and start seeing patterns. So how many tricks do you need to make your contract? Well, and I'll talk about this again in a minute or so, but remember how you know what you need to make a contract is based on the level of your contract. So let's say that you and your partner bid all the way up to 4 hearts. How you figure out how many tricks you need in 4 hearts is you always start with book. Book is the first 6 winning tricks in your hand. The first 6 tricks that you win. Now, they don't have to be consecutive winners. You don't have to win 6 tricks in a row to call it the book. It's just once you have gotten, in playing the hand, you have gotten yourself to 6 winning tricks, we call that the book. Remember, you don't get to a majority of winning tricks out of 13 tricks until you hit a 7th winning trick. That's what will tip you into a majority of winning tricks. So you just need 6 to hold your head up high in public. So we call those first 6 winning tricks the book. All right? They don't have to be consecutive in a row. They just have to be 6 winning tricks. Then how you know how many total tricks you need for your contract is you take book 6 and you add it to the level of your contract. How high did you bid in the auction? So if you and your partner are in 4 hearts, you take book plus 4, the level of your contract. 6 plus 4 is 10. So in a 4-heart contract, you would have to take 10 tricks. Identify that for yourself as one of the very first things you do, declare. You take your deep breath when the dummy comes down. How many tricks do I need to make my contract? What's the level of my contract plus book? All right. If I'm in 4 hearts, I need 10 total tricks out of 13. And the second question I then tell people to actually go through the process of articulating is how many can you afford to lose? Because honestly, while it may seem like a simple thing, panic starts to set in. It is scary to lose control while you're playing the hand, to give up tricks to the opponents. But you have to resign yourself to knowing that most of the time, you are going to have to give some winners to the opponents. You will not usually make all 13 tricks. But just knowing how many you can afford to lose will get your brain started on taking a look at this suit and that suit and saying, oh, well, I'm missing this card, I'm missing that card. Your brain will get ahead of you. Your brain will start to soothe you. Oh, it's okay, you're going to lose that trick, it's fine. So if you were in 4 hearts, and you knew how many tricks you needed to make your contract, book plus 4, 10 tricks in 4 hearts, then you should also be able to figure out how many tricks you can afford to lose. If you need 10 tricks out of 13 tricks, you can afford to lose 3 tricks, right? 13 minus 10 is 3. Actually identifying that number, not leaving it out there in space, actually cementing that for yourself helps your brain go, oh, I can afford to lose 3 different times. Let me look at the suits. Where are the most likely places I'm going to have trouble? Your brain will help you, and it will help you breathe deeply during the play of the hand. So you want to gather your first thoughts. Now, let's look at a hand together for the entire process. And this hand is in your book, page 27. What we're going to do is we're going to look at a hand that just has the basics in your book, and we are going to flesh it out together. Now, in this hand, South is in a two spade contract, two spades. And honestly, it does not matter how you got there. I don't know how you got there, but you're there. The auction has ended. The contract is two spades. You, South, are declarer in two spades. You're going to have to make this work, right? Now, you also should identify that I'm telling you that West, since you're South, West is the opening leader. And I'm telling you that West has led the ace of clubs. Now, you cannot see West's hand. You cannot see East's hand. In fact, when you're playing, you don't see them either. What you do see when you're playing is your own declarer hand and dummy across the table. So that's what you can see here. You need to make your plan based on what you can see, and in some cases, what you can surmise. What can you deduce from what's going on? So, how many tricks must South take in a two-spade contract to make that contract? Remember how you put that together? It's book, the first 6 tricks that you do win, plus the level of the contract. In this case, it's a two-spade contract. Book plus 2. You should come up with a number of 8. That's the number of tricks you have to take to make this contract. Now, the second question you ask yourself is, how many tricks can you afford to lose and still make the contract? Well, there are 13 tricks. You need 8 of them to be successful in the contract. So therefore, you can afford to lose 5 of them, right? So already you should be breathing deeply, because, wow, you can afford 5 losers and still make the contract. So you have gathered your first thoughts on this contract. Remember, you're still in that thinking stage. Now, in the beginning, thoughts are going to be running at you. You're just going to have to try and sort through the best you can. It will take you a whole lot of time to get fast at this, all right, and to be able to fit a whole bunch of thinking in here. Know that in the beginning, this is just going to take a lot of time. Now, after you've considered how many tricks you need and how many you can afford to lose, after you've gathered the beginning of your first thoughts, there is another section to gathering first thoughts, and that is, in trump contracts, as declarers, we count losers in each suit. We do that in order to figure out where our problems are. Now, this is a tricky concept, and I will do my best to explain how this works, but this process, again, will take time. All right? So here's our hand again. We want to count losers in trump contracts. What we're looking for are our problems, our liabilities. Because if we can figure out where our problems, where our liabilities are, because we have a trump suit on our side in a trump contract, we're then going to be able to say, well, what is the best use of my trump suit to gain extra winners, to eliminate problems, and maybe even to stymie the opponents, all right? So we want to count losers in a trump contract. Now, how do we do that? First of all, you should know that most of the time, the process of counting losers starts on the side of the table that holds the longest trump part of the suit. So when you look at North and South's hand here on my screen, whoops, you notice that our contract is 2 spades, right? We have 5 spade cards in South hands. We have 3 spade cards in North's hand. The long side of the trump is in South's hand, right? This is where we will end up after we do something called pull trump from the opponents. This is where we're going to end up with extra trump, because this is the longer side of the holding. So again, which side of the hand has longer trump? It's South's side of the table. It's where we have 5 trump cards instead of 3 trump cards, the spade suit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to count losers in South's hand. Our job is to account for the 13 cards, the 13 tricks that are seated here in South's hand. Every one of these cards, something is going to happen to, okay? Each of South's cards is either going to be an outright winner, What's an outright winner? Well, an ace. An ace is an outright winner. You know what two outright winners are? An ace and a king in the same suit, so that you play them one after another. Boom, boom. So outright winner, an ace would be an outright winner. So every card in South hand is either an outright winner, and if it's not that, then maybe it is part of a winning combination with a card up in dummy. So maybe by itself, for instance, take a look at this two of hearts. That doesn't look very promising, right? But take a look at North, where you have an honor card. If it goes for a ride with that honor card, when you play the two cards, one from each side of the table, then maybe the whole trick is a winning trick. So while this baby two might not be any good by itself, when it goes for a ride on this king of hearts and the king wins, it's part of a winning combination. So it's either an outright winner, or it's part of a winning combination with a good card up in dummy, or it's a loser. Okay, so that's what we're doing here, is we're identifying which cards in South hand are going to end up being loser cards. So let's try this together. Let's start with the club suit, and we are looking at South's hand. When we look at South's club suit, we see the 9 and the 5 of clubs sitting there, right? Now, neither of those cards are very pretty. They are not the ace. You do not have the ace of clubs in South's hand. And you have to follow suit twice in clubs before you could use your spade trump when you run out of clubs, right? Now, South, you look at your own hand and you do not hold the ace king. If you did, well, you would have two winners in South hand, right? But you don't have that in South. But you're not done yet, because what you want to do is look across the table to North. If North was holding the ace and the king, then this 5 of clubs could go for a ride up here on a good card in North, the ace. And this 5 would be part of a winning combination. You would turn that 5 over as a winner. It would go in the winner pile because it went along for a ride with a winning card in North, right? So if North holds the ace king over there, then the 9 and the 5 in South hand become part of winning combos, because they went for a ride with winning cards up in North. You would put this 9 and this 5 in a winner's pile. But you have to have the ace and the king over in North, right? Do you see the ace and the king over in North? Yeah, I don't either. So that's a problem. Let's go back to South's hand. South, you're going to have to play clubs twice. And because you in South don't hold the ace king, and because North does not hold the ace king in clubs, that means that South, your 5 is going to lose. The 5 of clubs is going to lose a trick, and the 9 of clubs is going to lose when it's played. They are both losing cards. South, you have 2 club losers. You will have to follow suit and play them when clubs are led, and you cannot win them. You have 2 club losers, South. After that, you'll be able to trump any clubs that East or West lead against you, but only after you've followed suit twice and lost twice. So South, you have 2 club losers. Let's move up to the South's diamond suit. Now I see 3 diamond cards there, the Jack, the 7, and the 3, okay? Well, I don't see the ace, do you? That's 3 cards in diamonds. You're going to have to play diamonds 3 times there. But there's no ace of diamonds in South hand. You cannot win the diamond lead if they lead a diamond suit against you. You don't have an ace in South's hand, right? Let's look across the table and see if there's any extra help there. Do you see the ace of diamonds up in North's hand? No, I don't either. But, here's something interesting. Take a look at the diamonds in both North's hand and South's hand. Because together, you have the king, the queen, the jack, the 10, and then you even have some more diamonds. You have small, what we call spot cards. What are spot cards? Those are the little cards 2 through 9 in any given suit. So you've got a whole lot of diamonds. In fact, I see 8 diamond cards between the 2 hands. That's a lot of diamonds. You have the king, you have the queen, you have the jack, you have the 10. Wow, but what you don't have is the ace, right? You do not have the ace. That means that South, you're going to have to lose a diamond trick to East and West's ace of diamonds. You must. But then, aren't those other middle honor cards going to take the next winning tricks in diamonds? Once the ace is played, those other diamond honors are going to be winners, right? Since South has so many diamonds altogether, it's possible even the little diamond cards could win tricks later, right? So I think South, you have one diamond loser. You are going to lose a trick to the ace of diamonds that is sitting in either East or West's hands. True? True. So I think you have one diamond loser. Let's go up to the heart suit now. Now in South's hand, because that's where we're looking, we're going to account for these three cards, the ace, the 10, and the 2. Well, I see the ace. That's pretty good, right? And then you look across the table. Do you see the king? Well, that's pretty good news too, isn't it? South's ace of diamonds is an outright winner. Boom, done, win. And then you look at the rest of South's heart cards. Let's look at that baby 2 of hearts. After you play the ace of hearts and win, if you play that 2 of hearts and you play the next winning heart card, which in that case would be North's king, doesn't that win a trick? I think it does. And that makes the 2 over here in South's hand part of a winning combination with North's winning king of hearts. That means the 2 of hearts is going to go in the winner's pile along with the king because it went for a ride with a winning king of clubs across the table. That 2 of hearts is part of a winning combination. So green light on the 2 of hearts, green light on the ace of hearts. So far, so good. But what about the 10 of hearts in South's hand? What about that card? Well, you have the ace and king of hearts between the 2 hands, but do you have the queen of hearts? That would be the next winning trick in this suit. I don't see the queen of hearts in South's hand, and I certainly don't see it in North's hand, right? You do not have the next winning heart, the queen of hearts, which means South's 10 of hearts. I'm so sorry, South. That 10 of hearts is not going to win a trick. It's not. You're going to lose to the East or West queen of hearts. That poor 10 of hearts cannot be part of a winning combination, not with anything in North. So therefore, the 10 of hearts will not win a trick. It is a losing trick. But the ace of hearts in South's hand is an outright winner. The 2 of hearts in South's hand is part of a winning combination with North's king of hearts. It's just the 10 of hearts that has no place to go. South has one heart loser. All right, now let's look at our spade trump suit. South has 5 spade cards. Wow, nice. North is holding 3 spade cards. The whole partnership has 8 total spade cards. That's a lot of spades, right? The opponents have 5 total spade cards between their 2 hands. I'm going to tell you that it usually takes 3 rounds of playing a suit. If you hold 8 cards in a suit, it will take 3 rounds of playing that suit to eliminate the opponent's cards in that suit. Now, you're going to have to trust me on this for a couple of minutes. I'll explain it in more detail in a minute. But here's the takeaway. When you hold an 8-card suit, the opponents have 5 of them. You should absorb this part. Those 5 cards that the opponents have are not sitting in just one person's hand. They're split between them. It usually takes 3 rounds of playing an 8-card suit, right? 3 rounds, boom, 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 for the opponents to run out of all the cards in that suit. They will be void. They will have no more cards in that suit. So it will probably take South 3 rounds of spade play before the opponents have no more spade trump left. Now, here's the good news. South, you have the ace, the king, and the queen. You can win 3 spade tricks in a row, right? By that time, the opponents will probably not have any spades at all left in their hands because they're going to have to follow suit every time you play a spade. That means that even South's 8 and 5 later on in the hand are definitely going to be winners if East and West have no more spades left. So I think spades, you have South, you have 0 losers in the spade suit. Every one of your spades is going to win a trick. So let's recap, shall we? The spade suit, no losers. All the spades are good in your hand. The heart suit, you're going to lose 1 trick because you are missing the queen of hearts. You have the ace and the king. The diamond suit, I think you're going to lose 1 trick because while you have good middle honor cards, you are missing the highest honor, the ace. You have to lose to the ace before those middle honors will become good, right? And then the club suit. Well, you don't have any good honor cards at all in the club suit. You're missing the ace and the king, so the 9 and the 5 in South's hand, you have 2 losers. 2 clubs, 1 diamond, 1 heart, 0 spades. You have 4 losers altogether. So we have counted up all the losers looking at South's cards with some help from North's cards. We've counted up 4 losers for South's hand. How many losers could South afford? Do you remember? Yeah, 5. South could afford to lose 5 tricks in a 2-spade contract, and we have 4 losers. Well, it looks like we're going to be able to take the 8 necessary tricks to make the contract. We might even take more if we only have 4 losers. So we've done the first part. We are the declarer, right? You're the declarer. Your dummy has appeared. You took a minute or so. You've considered your first thoughts. How many tricks did you need to make your contract? How many can you afford to lose? And then you went and counted losers as best you could. Now, honestly, in the beginning of your bridge career, here's what's going to happen. I watch it all the time with beginners. You know you're supposed to do something in that minute before you play a first card from dummy. Megan said so. Megan said I'm supposed to do something. First thoughty things, I don't know, some kind of loosey things. And in the beginning, you're not going to remember. I know. This is just going to take time. It's going to take time and practice, okay? So let's say that you got to a point where you could maybe do some of this, some of it. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. If all you can do every time you are declare in a trump contract for a little while is the following, I'll be thrilled. Here you go. How many tricks do you need to make your contract? How many can you afford to lose? That's your takeaway from today. If you can do nothing else, try every time you're declare, how many tricks do you need to make your contract? How many can you afford to lose? If you can get nothing else accomplished in your head, because your brain's going to be full, I'm thrilled because your brain will start moving you forward, without the rest of you. Subconsciously, it's just going to keep you moving forward. So now you've done this piece. Now what do? Well, now we play the hand. So what is your job when you play the hand? You try and win trick 1. That's your first thing. If you can win trick 1, you can get started on what you have ahead of you. But then your first real task in a trump contract when you're declare is to pull trump. You'll hear us refer to it as call trump or draw trump. They're all the same thing. You're going to pull the opponent's trump cards away from them. You're going to take them out of their hands. We like to refer to it as get the kids off the street. You don't want the opponents to have any trump cards. You want to get rid of those trump out of their hands as quickly as you can. Absolutely. Because you want to control the hand for most of the hand. You don't want them to surprise you later when you forgot that they were about to run out of, the diamond suit, and you're going to go play diamonds, and they're going to trump you because you forgot they still had spade cards. Nope. Your first real job, as soon as you win either the trick 1 or as soon as you can win the lead, declarers, your first real job is to play the trump suit, pull trump, get the kids off the street, take the trump away from the opponents. Now, hopefully you're winning the trump tricks you're playing, hopefully. But even if you are missing the highest trump cards, you are still going to pull trump. You're going to play your trump and lose to them. That's fine. Make them play their trump right now. Get it out of their hands. If they have the highest trump, well, they deserve to win those trumps. Make them win those trump cards now. So we're going to walk through this example together. You don't need East and West hands for this. You don't see them when you're normally playing anyway. But I will tell you that you should go get yourself a pencil if you don't have one handy. Not a pen, a pencil. And an eraser would be helpful too. Get a pencil with an eraser. Here's why. I'm going to have you cross out the cards on your paper while I walk through this thought process. While I walk through this process with you and explain what a declarer should be thinking about, you'll cross out the cards as we play them together, okay? It's going to help you see some things more clearly. It's a good practice to get into when you're studying some play of the hand lessons and you're looking at hands and practicing. Cross out cards, but use a pencil. Here we go. Here's the hand again. So we are in 2 spades. South is the declarer. Here's the hand in front of you. West is on opening lead because West is to the left of the declarer in South. West is leading the ace of clubs. Now, your play of the hand section in your book, I think on one of the last page or the last page of information before you get to the answers in that lesson, talks about opening leads. If West is leading an honor card, in this case, the ace of clubs, West is leading something called top of touching honors. Well, what does that mean? It means that West holds at least the ace and the king of clubs, both of those honor cards. And West is playing the higher of those 2 touching honors, the ace and the king, right? They're the 2 consecutive high honors in the club suit. West is leading the higher of those 2, the ace. It is a signal across the table to West's own partner, East. It is saying to East, I have the next winning card as well, and I want you to remember that this was my suit for later on. It is even possible that West has the queen, but there's no way this lead says that. It just says that West has the top of 2 touching honors, at least, the ace and the king. So West is leading the ace of clubs. South, you're not going to win trick 1, are you? No, you're not going to win trick 1. You have to follow suit in clubs, right? You cannot just willy-nilly play your trump suit anytime you want. You must follow suit if you have cards in the suit that was led. And West is going to win trick 1, but don't panic. Don't panic, South, okay? You're going to play 1 club in North and 1 club in South, your lowest clubs, right? And in fact, when you play that, here's what your hand will look like. Did you cross out the 6 and the 5 on your paper? Right? Cross them out. Because now you have played 1 club card in North and 1 club in South. Now, I've put those 2 cards in a lighter gray, and that's what I'll do as we continue to go along so that you can see they're no longer basically physically there. I still want to keep the placeholder so that you knew how many cards you had in the suit. All right, so now we move on to trick 2, and West is on lead because West won trick 1. West is going to lead another club. Why not? Which club do you think West is going to lead? Yeah, of course, the king of clubs. West is trying to win tricks now before you start trumping his suit. So, yes, you're going to play a small club in North and another club in South. Don't panic yet, because West is going to win this. Remember, you can lose up to 5 tricks and still make your contract. So now when you look at the hand, you have no more clubs in North, the dummy, and no more clubs in South, your own hand. Now, West can only see the dummy, North. West is still on lead, but since West can now see that there are no more clubs in dummy's hand in North, West is probably not going to lead another club, even if West has the queen. Why? Because West is worried it'll get trumped, right? So West is not going to continue in clubs. West is going to try and figure out what suit to lead now. Well, how does West make that decision? Well, one of the ways that a defender can make that decision is by looking over at the dummy. Since the opponents can see the dummy, one of the ways they make a decision about where to go next is to look at the dummy. Now, if I'm looking at the dummy, I can see Now, I know this little red thing is covering it up, but you have the king, the queen, the 10, and 2 more diamonds, right? So there's a long set of honors in that diamond suit. If I were West, I don't think I'd want to leave diamonds. I don't want to make things easier for South to try and set up some of those lovely diamonds. I don't want to play a spade. You don't play trump for the declarer opponents. Don't do that. Don't help declarer. So what's left is the heart suit here. When West looks at the heart suit, sees the king of hearts. There are no other honor cards in that suit. So maybe West is thinking, yes, the king is in dummy, but maybe my own partner across the table in East has the ace. Maybe if I play a low heart, I'll get declare to play that king. And if my partner in East has the ace, boom, gobble up. Then not only would my partner win the trick, but she would gobble up the king with it. Now, sometimes on defense, what we're playing for is the helpful hopeful, right? We're hoping something works. We can't know for sure. We're taking a guess. We're hoping for the best. A lot of bridge is hoping for the best. So if I were West, I think I would lead a low heart because I don't want to play a diamond since I can see the king, the queen, the 10, and some other diamonds. I think that's a suit that South, the declarer, is going to be very interested in, and I don't want to help her. And I'm not going to lead spades, the trump suit, because defenders, opponents, don't lead the spade suit for declarer. Don't help them, okay? Even if you have a high one, don't help them. Make her work for it. So a low heart from West now. What's going to happen? South can either win this heart lead with the king of hearts or the ace of hearts. Isn't that true? Aren't they both win? They're both winners. So which one do you think South should win with? Well, I'll tell you what I would do. I would win with South's ace of hearts. I would play a low heart in North and win it with South ace. Now, why would I do that? Why not just play the king since it's right there? Because I want to leave an absolute winner up here in North. I have winners in South. See the ace, king, queen of trump? I mean, those are outright winners, aren't they? If I play the winner in hearts down here, the ace of hearts, I still have winners down here, absolutely, in the trump suit, spades. And that would also still leave me a winner up here in North. Sometimes we like to keep winners on both sides of the table. We want some flexibility. We want something called transportation, a way to get back and forth between both hands. So if I were South, the declarer, I would play a low heart and play the ace of hearts to win this trick. And now you can see that's exactly what I've done. I've played the 7 up here and the ace of hearts down here. And now South, yay, finally on trick 3, you've won the lead. Terrific. What's your first job when you get the lead? Your first job is to pull trump from the opponents. Get the kids off the street. Don't let them use their spade trump against you at some point later. Force that spade trump out of their hands right now. And if you can win those tricks while you're doing it, fantastic. If you can't win those tricks, if you're missing the high trump, pull the trump anyway. Just do it. Now, we're up to trick 4. Let's consider how to play this spade trump suit. South and North together have 8 total spade trump cards. That means East and West hold 5 spade cards. Now, a little earlier when we were counting losers, I said I was going to explain how you would know how many rounds it would take. Now, this is where we are. East and West hold 5 total spade cards. The most likely split of those missing 5 spade cards are 3 cards in one opponent's hand and 2 cards in the other opponent's hand. Why? Why am I saying that? They are holding an odd number of cards, 5. When you are missing in bridge an odd number of cards in a suit, they will tend to split between the 2 opponents' hands as evenly as possible. When you are missing 5 cards, they will tend to split as evenly as possible, 3-2. If you were missing 7 cards in a suit, they will tend to split as evenly as possible, 4 and 3. There are all kinds of charts about things like percentages and probabilities in bridge. You can find those in Wikipedia. Bridge probabilities, plug it in. Duplicate bridge probabilities. You'll find all kinds of charts that will help you start to see if you're missing this number of cards, what's the likely outcome. It's really helpful. I personally am not that kind of a numbers person. My husband, Alan, is. He's a whiz at this stuff. Me, I just have to learn the maxims. And I learn, because it happens most of the time this way, is that if I'm missing 5 spade trump cards, the opponent's 5 cards are not likely to split 3 in one hand, 2 in the other hand. Okay? So that's what I'm counting on, because that's what's going to happen most of the time. And if that's true, if one of the opponents has 2 of the missing spade cards and one of the opponents has 3 of the missing spade cards, then probably it's going to take me 3 rounds, boom, 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 of playing spades here for both East and West to be completely void. One of them will be void after 2 rounds. The other one will be void after 3 rounds. So, South, you're going to pull trump now, and you have the top 3 spade winners, the ace, the king, and the queen of spades. Fantastic. That means you should be able to play 3 rounds of trump, winning them while you're taking East and West spades away from them, right? Then they won't have any spades left. They can't surprise you later with a trump card. So here we go. South, play the ace of spades in your own hand and a little baby spade in North, and you're going to win that trick. East and West both play a spade card, and that means that that's 2 of the missing 5 spade cards played in their hands. And now I have grayed out the 6 up here and the ace down here, right? And now we move on, okay? All right. Now, South, let's cash the king of spades and play a little spade in North. And South, you're going to win that trick. East and West will play a spade card. And now 4 of the missing 5 spade cards have been played. Can you see that? Now, look, the 7 has been played. The king has been played. East and West have both followed suit. So now there's only 1 more spade card in one of their hands. So on trick 6, cash, what we call cash. When you win a trick from your own hand, you play a card and you're winning it from your hand. We call it cashing. Cash the queen of spades. Play the last spade that you have in North and win the trick. One of the opponents plays that final spade card, right? Whoops. One of the opponents play. Now, take a look. You have no more spade cards left in North, right? North is completely void in spades. So are East and West. The only person who still has spades is South's declarer hand. And now that 8 and 5 of spades are automatic winners. Nobody has spades left. Nobody can beat the 8. The 8 and 5 are automatic winners. So should South play those remaining spade trump now? I would not. You want to save any remaining trump to do some magic later if you need to. Sometimes later in the hand, if the opponents especially win the lead, they might do something and you need to be able to get the lead back. So hopefully they play something you're void in, you trump them, yay! You win the lead back because you saved your always winning remaining spade trump cards. So leave the 8 and 5 alone right now. Let's go on to other suits. Now on to other winners. The suit that I would work on now if I were South is the diamond suit, okay? The diamond suit, look at that. I have my little arrows in the wrong place. That arrow should be here. Let me see if I can fix that. Let's see if I can fix that. There and there. Okay. All right, is that better? Okay. Now, the suit that South should work on is the diamond suit. Why? Let me just fix that a little bit more. I'm sorry. I want to make sure you can see exactly what I'm doing. There. Okay. All right. So why the diamond suit? Take a look at that diamond suit. You have 3 diamond cards in South. You have 5 diamond cards in North. With just a little bit of effort, South could win a bunch of tricks in diamonds, right? Because don't you have pretty middle honors? I think this is a big possibility. The opponents have 5 diamond cards. You have 8. Doesn't that sound just like the spade suit we just played? I think it does. It's going to work pretty much the same way. It is. Now, south, you're missing the ace of diamonds. That's not the same as the spade suit, right? You had all the top winners in spades. But if you could get rid of the ace of diamonds, if you could get the opponents to play that ace of diamonds right now, or at least very soon, then the rest of your diamonds are going to win some tricks. So I think your next step is to go after a suit right now, after you've pulled trump, that is going to get you winners quickly. And you want East and West to play that ace of diamonds as soon as possible. But if you really want them to play all the way up, remember, they have other diamond cards, not just the ace. If you want them to play the actual ace, you're going to have to give them something for it. You're going to have to entice them to play that ace. You're going to have to dangle something very shiny in front of them. So what would that be? I think it would be one of your honor cards. Because look, if you play the 3 of diamonds down here and then play the 5 of diamonds up here, couldn't they win the trick with like the 8 of diamonds? Right? You don't have the 8 of diamonds. They do. If you play the 3 of diamonds down here and the 5 of diamonds up here, can't they get away with just winning it with the 8 of diamonds? And then they still have the ace of diamonds to win. Oh, no, 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 no. You don't want to do that. You want them winning one and only one diamond trick, and that diamond trick has got to be the ace. So in order to force them to play that ace, you're going to have to dangle a little something for them. Have you ever seen It Happened One Night with Claudette Colbert on the side of the road, she's hitchhiking and she's trying to get a ride? What does she do? Right. She waves her little ankles at the passing drivers. That's what you have to do, essentially. You have to dangle something shiny in front of the opponents so that they play their ace of diamonds. You're going to have to dangle one of your honor cards in front of them. And yes, it means you're going to lose that honor card, but you have so many. You have so many. If I were south, I would lead the jack of diamonds. It's an honor card that will entice East-West to play a higher honor card. And the only higher honor card they own is the ace of diamonds, right? But why play the jack? Why not the king or the queen? Aren't those higher? Well, first of all, if you have king, queen, jack in a row, they are essentially, they're the same value. There's no gap in between them. The jack is worth as much as the king. That's number one. Number two, we want to use a technique called high card from the short side. What does that mean? You've got honors on both sides of the table, don't you? You've got the jack down here, and you've got the king, queen, 10 up here. Remember, 10 is an honor card. And when you think about it, the king, queen, jack, 10, they are all the same value. If there's no gap in between any of those cards, king, queen, jack, 10, then they have all the same value. They do all the same thing, okay? So you have honor cards on both sides of the table. You have the jack down here, you have the king, queen, 10 up here. But high card from the short side says you play the highest honor on the shorter side of the suit. In this case, you have only 3 diamond cards down in south hand. You have 5 diamond cards up in north hand. Now, why do you do that? You do that so later on in the hand, you end up forcing yourself to play to the longer side, and then you're in position to run down whatever you have on that longer side. So that's a hard concept, and we're going to see it in a couple of minutes, and it's still going to take a little time. So trust me, you should play the jack of diamonds here. Now, when you lead the jack of diamonds, what you're trying to do, again, is to get over to diamonds later naturally. We'll see how that works. You lead the jack of diamonds from your hand. You play a small diamond in north. You play the 5. But, what if neither east nor west plays their ace? They're not forced to. They don't have to beat your jack. They're being cagey, aren't they? How? Why? Well, look, they can see the queen, king, queen, 10 of diamonds in north, and they're seeing you play your jack. They know what you're trying to do. They know you're trying to get their ace, but they're going to make you want to work for it. If they don't play their ace now, if they play low, they let your jack win. They're hoping they're going to confuse you. They're going to go, and make you go do something else. They're trying to confuse you, right? But if they don't take their ace, notice you've played your 5, you've played your jack. They didn't play their ace. They played low. They let your jack win a trick. They promoted your jack to a winner, even though you didn't originally think it was going to be a winner. You thought you were going to lose it to the ace. Oh, well, it's a winner. You retain the lead. Now, East and West both played a diamond. They have 5 of them. They're likely split 3-2, right? That's 2 of the missing 5 diamonds that they have just played, even though they chose not to play their ace. They did follow suit. You're missing 5 diamonds altogether. They played now 2 of them. Well, what are you going to do now? Let's dangle another shiny honor in front of them to get them to play their ace now. So play a low diamond, play the 3 south towards the king. And let's say that after you play the king, East over on this side of the table plays the ace. Either because she wanted to or because she had to, because it was the only diamond she had left. East is going to win this trick. Yes, you lost your king. You did, to the ace. But it's okay, because it's actually part of your plan. East wins this trick. But on this trick, they have both, East and West, played a diamond. And that means now they have played 4 of the missing 5 diamonds, and the ace is played. So you've played the jack, you've played the king, the ace has now been played, right? They have 1 more diamond. And when you look at what's left here on my screen, isn't the next winning diamond the queen? Yeah, but you're not on lead. East is on lead. She won the ace of diamonds. But you have to remember that your diamonds up here are pretty. They're winners. So East is on lead on trick 9. What is East going to lead? Well, East is pretty unhappy right now, actually. If you've been crossing out cards on your paper, you can see that, right? You can see that East is not happy. East is going to take a look at North's dummy. East says to himself, well, if I lead a heart, I know that the king is going to win the trick because I've already seen the ace win a trick earlier. So that doesn't make me happy. East does not have any spades. East doesn't want to lead diamonds into your diamonds. And East says, well, if I lead a club, I don't know, maybe South does still have a club left. Remember, East cannot see South's hand. East can just see North's hand. And East sees that North does not have any clubs, but also does not have any spade trump left. Maybe South still has a club, and East says, well, it's my partner's suit. She led the ace of clubs on the very first trick. What if I play a club now? Maybe it'll win. You don't have much to lose here, East, because you don't have a lot of choice. So let's just say, because it was partner's original suit, South, it says South should lead a high club. That's wrong. I'm sorry. East should lead a club now. East leads a club. And when East leads a club, South, bingo, you're going to trump it, aren't you? You're going to play the 5 of spades. Boom. But what are you going to play in North? You don't have any clubs in North, and you're not going to play another spade even if you had one. You don't double trump. You're going to discard a losing heart, that little 8 of hearts up here. It's not going to do you any good. Discard it. Play it when you play your 5 of spades. But don't discard those good diamonds. Those are going to be winners. Don't discard a good diamond. Discard a heart. Right? So sorry, East, you led a club, but South trumped it. All right, now, South, here's what you have left. You have the king of hearts. You have the king, queen, 10, the queen, 10, 6 of diamonds. You have the 8 of spades, and you have 2 hearts down here and a diamond. Well, I'm going to tell you that this 8 of spades is an absolute winner because it's trump. But if you can think back, and I know that if it happened more than 2 minutes ago, it's like 25 years when you're a beginner, your king of hearts is actually an outright winner, isn't it? You had the ace, you had the king. It's an outright winner. This queen of diamonds is now a winner because the east-west hands have played the missing ace of diamonds. You had the jack, you had the king. This queen is a winner. The 10 is the next winner. And by the time you get to the 6, it's going to be a winner. You just have winners all over the place. How do you want to play this out? Well, you have a couple of choices here, but let's say we do this. Let's say south, you're in your own hand because you played the 5 of spades to trump that last club trick. Let's say you play your final diamond, your 7. You play that 7 over to the queen. Because you played high card from the short side earlier, because you played your jack earlier, you have that 7 to play over to that queen. And now you're on the long side of the diamond suit. So you win with the queen of diamonds, putting the 7 of diamonds on it. Trick 11. Let's play that 10 of diamonds, right? Nobody else has diamonds at this point. Nobody else has diamonds. Play that 10 of diamonds. It's a winner. What are you going to discard? Let's throw away like the 2 of hearts in your hand. That's what we did. We played the 10. We put the 2 on it. Now, trick 12. Look, you could do anything you want here. You could play the winning king of hearts. You could play the winning 6 of diamonds. They're both winners. Either one's going to do the job. When you play one of those, you're going to discard the 10 of hearts down here because it's a losing heart, and both of these cards are winners. So let's just say that you're feeling a little frisky and you want to show the opponents that, hey, you don't even need a high card to win a trick. Let's say that you play the 6 of diamonds because nobody else has diamonds. You play that 6 of diamonds and you put the 10 of hearts on it down here. Boom. That was trick 12. Final trick, trick 13. Your king of hearts is a winner, but you're going to put the winning 8 of spades on it. You just have 2 winners collapsing on each other, and you win the final trick. So how did you do as you were crossing out? This was a lot of work, right? And is confusing. So one of the things I would suggest is that maybe you take your eraser and you erase and you do it again. Try and do it without me. And then, if I were you, I would go back into the book. The lessons in your textbook all have a play of the hand lesson with a narrative at the end of every lesson. How about you go back to the beginning of your textbook, start in lesson 2, and look for the play of the hand lesson there, and try and work with your pencil and eraser through the play of the hand, using the narrative, crossing out cards, then erase, and see if you can do it again without looking at the narrative. Let's start seeing if you can see these play of the hand lessons. All right? It is a lot of work, and it is a learning curve. But down the road, we're going to have lessons that are just trump play of the hand. That's all we're going to do. We're not even going to do any bidding. We're going to tell you what the contract is, and we're going to walk through all of the techniques on how to play a trump hand. We're going to just spend weeks on that, okay? We're starting here just with the smidges of how to get started. Remember your basics. You're going to take a deep breath and go through your first thoughts. How many tricks do I need to make my contract? How many can I afford to lose? See if you can count losers. And then your first job when you play the hand is to pull the opponent's trump from them. If you remember absolutely nothing from this lesson, and it is a lot of information, all I care about that you remember right now is that you should do the very first bit of first thoughts when the dummy appears. How many tricks do I need to make my contract? How many can I afford to lose and still make that contract? Because your brain will kick in and start for you. So try and work through this lesson in the packet, but there's a lot of information that's not really intended for right now. It's intended for the big picture, okay? But send me questions. You know that you can email me questions, and I'm happy to help, all right? I'll see you in class. Take care.